Tour junkies.
안녕하세요, 친구. Hello, friends. In South Korean or just Korean. DB here. Siwoo Kim. Masters Week. Betting show. My boy Pat. Podcast juice flowing. And I'm talking South Korean, baby. It's Masters 2024, Pat.
Gosh, I cannot believe the Masters is here, nor can I believe that you are opening the show in Korean.
안녕하세요, 친구. 안녕하세요, 친구.
안녕하세요, 친구. Hello,
It's
friends.
close.
Siwoo will kick your ass this week. What you say, girl? What? I'm pumped, man. The betting show. We're going to talk about it. Listen, we're doing this a little early. It's kind of like a first look, right? Like we don't want to get too committed right now. We don't want to get too committed. There's going to be some guys we have some serious conviction on. But as we've seen with a lot of major championship weeks, we're recording this on Saturday of the Valero, Saturday before the Masters, late in the afternoon. These numbers are probably going to get better on a lot of guys. There's going to be some that'll get shorter. They'll get steamed. That you'll be like, dang it, I wish I would have got it. But there's going to be a lot that might get a little bit better. So me and Pat are going to talk through these outrights. We're going to talk through some early top 20s. There's some news in the top 20 department, Patrick, by the way, from DraftKings. I'm excited about. So we're going to get into some top 20 thoughts, all that good stuff. So it's going to be a fun show. We're going to do all the normal. We've also got a ton of announcements and some giveaways. Do not skip through any moment of this podcast, okay? Don't skip. There will be giveaways. There will be we got the bet wheel we're spinning today, baby. The betting wheel is going to get spun at some point. That should be good. Got some big announcements. Got some extra content, some extra special stuff going on this week. Pat, can you? Oh, dang it! I put it on the sheet. I was about to ask. Don't look.
I haven't looked.
What is some special content going on this week? Do you know for the tour
Special,
of which
yes.
you're a part owner and founder?
Yes. So there's a lot of special content, actually. GS Luke is going to be in on the chat this week. Let's see. What else? We are going... Now, you've already put out something special, DB. You put out an email.
Yeah.
That went out already that had tons of information. I actually read the email. It was incredible. It was good stuff. Joe Pomp. I mean, listen. Joe Pomp is amazing. He has a great podcast, great Twitter following, email list, whatever else he's got. We're going on there. I cannot wait. So that's all I can think off the top of my head, DB. I will say this. I'm drinking Tito's. And it's been a long time.
It's the biggest announcement of the week. Are you already drinking it right now?
Yeah, it's in the cup here. Now, I've only got one.
Beer. I'm doing beer for this show, but I'm switching to tequila for the next show.
Okay, so I'm going kind of the opposite way. I'm going to have this, and then I'm going to go to the beer.
Liquor before beer, have no fear. Good. Okay,
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited.
I'm pumped about that. Yes, GS Luke, the prop god, really. I mean, he's a DFS gambling prop dude for sure. But as we've said, every major, every signature event, we're going to have a special guest in the Wednesday Night Live Discord chat with me and Pat. That will be going down this Wednesday night. I can imagine that is going to be one of the best of the year. We had a great one last week. I mean, dude, last week for the Valero Texas Open, we had a revelation in the Wednesday Night Live Discord chat that led to Akshay Bhatia, first round leader. Many people holding Akshay Bhatia outright cards. Our boy James, shout out James. I mean, the guy's getting a Masters show shout out, but that's how electric he was on stage with us on Wednesday night. And
it was good. Now
the community, it felt like the community got stronger on Wednesday night.
I mean, look, when things like that happen at the Valero Texas Open, the event the week before the Masters, that's all you need to know, DB, about how great the community is, because this week it's really going to be just amazing in there. So much content. The chat's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, we'll have GS Luke in there with us, talking through some of his favorite props for Thursday early, some of his thoughts. We're going to do daily Discord props after every single round, showdown conversations for DFS, Discord prop conversations.
Pat mentioned the Joe Pompliano show. We are going on that on Monday, recording that on Monday. If you're a Joe Pomp believer, follower, listener, give us some love on that show. Excited to hop on there with Joe. Big fan of his and all he's done. I'm going on Hammer Dan this week with the Pat McAfee boys. Give me some love on that too, if you don't mind. We need all the love. Basically, listen, the Masters Week is a big deal for the Tour Junkies. So we got a lot of new eyeballs, a lot of new ear holes, taking us in. So the more love you can stir up for us, the better it works out for us. Pat, did you have a revelation there for a second?
No, I have a major announcement. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn the tables on you.
Bigger than Planet Tito's?
Because this is not on your little list here of things for this week, but I'm going to be doing something that I have not done in a while, DB.
I just thought
what am I going to do this week for the Masters?
I believe Mr. Patrick H. Perry is bringing back the Fantasy Golf Sommelier.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Coming out probably on Tuesday. I'm going to record
YouTube
Monday
exclusive.
night.
YouTube
Yeah.
exclusive.
So I cannot wait to do that. I'll be bringing out some wine, giving you some wine knowledge, giving you some player knowledge and picks, and excited to do it, DB.
Producer Tony, we love Producer Tony, but he's never had the Fantasy Golf Sommelier treatment before. He's never experienced what it's like to edit a Fantasy Golf Sommelier video that should be about a 7 to 11 minute video, where the beginning of the video is riddled with Pat expletives and temper tantrums and mishaps and false starts and, fumbling and bumbling and stuttering and muttering and, all the things that happen and all the cuss words and the bleeps and the everything that it takes to get out a Fantasy Golf Sommelier video. I've been on the text thread with our former Fantasy Golf Sommelier editor with that, and it's a great time. Tony, I'm looking forward to Pat popping your FGS cherry.
Oh, I'm excited. I'll have to get prepared for that. I've popped the podcast juice as well.
Oh, dear.
I'm a basic white girl, so I got the White Claw. But no, I'm excited about that. That'll be my first time with that. So
now here's the question: do we do it with you producing it while I'm doing it, or should you be surprised and let me record it and then I just send you the raw video?
Well, I'm leaving whatever mistakes you make, I'm leaving in. I'll edit them and put them on the back end. That way we get the good stuff. We get the content. We get the meat first.
Yeah.
And we'll sprinkle a little dessert at the end there. So whatever you do, it's going in there. It's gonna be in there. But maybe we just shoot me a text. Let me know. Let me know that it's there. And then that way I can have a good laugh before we put it out.
We also need to make sure we give Pat an ad read or two during the Fantasy Golf Sommelier video. Yeah. Just for not even for the ad itself, but just to get him to do it.
We know Underdog is one. Pat's got that at the top of his head.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, actually, Underdog will probably be a focus of the FGS when it comes to some of the plays on Underdog. So I've got to do some Underdog reads.
Love it.
Okay.
It's going to be a good week. Looking forward to it. Listen, let's get through a few giveaways before we get started, because I want to make sure that people get the giveaways. Tony, if we could too, let's put in the chapters in the podcast description that at minute 9 we give you giveaways. So we got 3 giveaways. I'm going to dish them all to you right now. Here we go. Here's the first one. Pat, hold up for the people. What's happening? Did you get the items from the shop?
I got them all right beside me.
All right, we got some Tour Junkies merch. You got a beer sleeve to hold yourself 6 beers to sneak into your golf bag at your country club or your golf course that wants to overcharge you for beer, tell you can't bring your own. That thing holds 6 cold ones, keeps them cool, put it in your golf bag. We've got a Tour Junkies rope hat. Okay, this is all going to be bundled together. You got the Tour Junkies rope hat. That thing's fresh. Look at Pat in the flat bill. God dang, huh? Jeez, don't let your wife see that. We've got an Azalea polo, the official Golby Masters black Azalea polo by our friends at Pins and Aces. Lovely polo there. You got to be a real man to wear that thing, I tell you that. And then a putter cover. Sweet putter cover for your blade. If you ain't got a blade, use a mallet. Give it to somebody that's got a blade. Anyway, all that you get all you got to do for that one is just join the Discord. But guess what? You don't even have to join the paid version. Just get in the free version. There's a free version. Now, you only get to see about, a little bit of cleavage. You get to see a
Yeah.
little cleavage. And on Masters Week, we might drop it down to where you think you see just top of the areola, just
Mhm.
top of it. But see, most of the time you only get to see a little bit of the Cleveland right there.
Yeah.
So there is some value to the free version. Now you're going to want to be in the paid version so you get the full thing. But even just getting in the free, anyone in the Discord, free version or not, we will pick a winner. You'll get the TJ stuff. Second giveaway, you're getting a free year subscription to Bet the Number, the hottest and baddest new golf data and analytics website.
Bad in a good way.
Yeah.
You
Did
know,
I say bad?
bad.
Oh,
I
I did
said
say
the
bad.
baddest, like, you know, but that's like the baddest, like that's badass.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny when you say that. You said that's badass. Well, that's funny. Anyway, you get a free year to Bet the Number, free year subscription. That's a big value there. That's pretty sick. We're going to be talking more about them in a little bit, sharing the screen as well, showing you a little bit about Bet the Number. I did. If you watched my Augusta National course breakdown video, which I hope you have. If you have not, I spent about 20, 30 minutes giving you everything you need to know, nothing you don't, all about the Augusta National, about the golf course, about key stats, trends, kind of debunking a couple of myths, looking at some of the latest things that have led to success at Augusta, talking through a few early names and storylines. All of that is in that Augusta National course breakdown video on the YouTube feed as well as the podcast feed. I did a lot of screen sharing with Bet the Number in that video to look at the golf course as well as some key statistics in the custom model on Bet the Number. So if you want a free year to Bet the Number, here's what you got to do to get that, to be entered into the drawing. You follow us on SoBet. That's our other big partner. We've been partnering with SoBet for over a year now, doing it again this year. SoBet's the place to be if you're a gambler at all. If you bet on any sport or like literally any sport, you need to be on SoBet. And we need some followers on SoBet, tailing our picks because I've been pretty hot in the placement bet streets. So hot on SoBet, you just have to follow us. All you got to do, link is in the description to follow us on SoBet. Finally, I'm going to give away a $100 Swannies gift card. $100 Swannies gift card. All you have to do for that one is rate and review the podcast on Apple and or Spotify. That's all you got to do. Rate and review on Apple and or Spotify. And one of you lucky folks will get a $100 gift card to our friends at Swannies. That's it. Those are 3 giveaways. Did we nail those? We got them? We good?
I think so. Yeah. Good job, DB.
All right. I think all the announcements are over. We can start kind of getting into this, I guess. You know what though, Pat? Like, I don't know. I'm too ready to get into this. We got to get into the betting picks. Let's just do this. I want to get this out of the way. The season-long update, I don't even want it. I don't care. I had Tommy Fleetwood last week. You had Colin Morikawa or whatever. We're recording this on Saturday, Valero. Tommy Ladd's playing like he hadn't played all freaking year. Morikawa's playing just like he's played all year, like a beta. And you're going to dominate me yet again in the season-long update.
I mean, look, it is what it is, DB. It's just I'm hot right now. I'm hot with the fades.
Yeah. You are, and it is what it is. You're right. It is what it is. And the majors and the elevated events, signature events are where I got to make up some serious ground. I've got to make up some serious ground. And you have the honors. If people don't know, if you're just now watching, every single week, we do a season-long fade of a player at 30-1 or shorter. So we pick a guy that we're fading, and we're taking their cumulative earnings for the season, the cumulative earnings that we get for the season and making these picks every week. And whoever has the most money at the end of the season is going to have to pay off the handsome penalty of going to a really lame concert all by themselves. And right now, Pat has like a third of the money that I have. So Pat has a large lead.
Yeah.
And you also have the honors, sir. You have the honors.
Well, I'm glad I have the honors. And
who are you fading at shorter than 30-1 at the Masters this year?
Well, DB, I'm fading one of the hotter golfers on the planet.
What?
Right now.
Okay.
Now, it's not Scotty Scheffler.
Dang
It's not
it.
Scotty Scheffler.
Okay.
But I was surprised that this guy has never played in the Masters before. Or if he has, it has not been. He's not played. I'm just going to go ahead and say he's not.
He is not.
Wyndham Clark, DB, coming off 2 second-place finishes in a row, almost won the Players' Championship. and he's playing in his first Masters, which we do know is very difficult. He had that little back kind of threw out his back a little bit the week of Houston, did make the cut actually and finished 31st. But I'm going to go with Wyndham Clark, who is currently at around 28 to 1.
Wow. I mean, you know what though? You can afford to play boldly right now with a massive lead. So you're going with the old, he doesn't have the experience at Augusta. Which, Pat, we've seen plenty of guys without a lot of experience play well at Augusta lately.
Yeah.
Sahith Theegala last year, Will Zalatoris.
Will Zalatoris finished second in his first year.
Yeah.
And I think there's a guy in this field who also could win this year who is playing in his first Masters. So,
wow. Okay, so Wyndham Clark, who has really only been beaten by Scotty Scheffler in, 2 of his last 3 starts? Or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Wyndham was second at the API and he was second to players, T2 at the players. Scotty won both of those. Wyndham is in my model, actually made a model this week, DB. He's 5th in my model. So he obviously checks a ton of boxes, but I'm going to fade him.
Wow. Okay. Well,
what are you going to do?
Wow. Geez, I kind of thought I knew where you were going to go. And I thought, golly. Okay. You really got me shook up right now. I think I'm going to go with my original one pick. I am going to fade the out of form Patrick Cantlay.
Wow, right on the edge there at 30 to 1. You know what, DB? I don't mind that. I think that could be a good one.
I mean, his incoming form this year versus all other years he's played Augusta pretty much is not good. The approach play looks nothing like what we're used to seeing him do. The mid irons, the long irons, according to Bet the Number, are not good. Last 20, last 30 rounds. The driving accuracy has dropped off. Not that you have to be super accurate here, but you need to be somewhat accurate. You need total driving, I think, really pays off. He's looked less of the total driver that we've known him to be this season, but it's mainly the iron play for me. The iron play has just been not good. He's only had 1 tournament in 2024 that he's been positive with his irons, and that was Riviera. That's it. Everything else has been neutral or negative, and some very negative. And we also haven't seen him since the players. I don't love that. If you talk about trends, and I want to talk about that now after the season-long update. If you talk about trends, there are a lot of trends that Patrick Cantlay does not check the box in terms of incoming form and in terms of how he's been doing things lately. So, you know what? Textbook fade for DB. Somewhat bold fade for Pat. I'm sure we all know what's going to happen. If Patrick Cantlay finishes top 3 or 4 and Clark finishes anywhere outside the top 20, 15, I'm probably done. I'm literally done.
Yeah, it's going to take we get an elevated event next week.
Yeah.
In Hilton Head, but still, you're running out of time already, and it's barely April, DB. So you gotta pick it up here.
All right, so those are some big name fades, and that's what we try to do. We're not trying to just give you the guys we like. We're going to try to give you the guys that we don't like, and make some stands, make some calls, see how it goes. I do want to talk through those trends a little bit. Pat mentioned at the top of the show the research email that we dropped, and there is a link in the description of the video and the podcast that you can click on that link. And if you didn't get the email, you can still click the link and it will open it up on our Beehive page. You can read all about it. But there's a trend section at the end. And just a reminder, last few winners, John Rahm 12 under, Scheffler 9 under, Hideki 10, DJ at 20, but that was one in November. Tiger in 2019 at 13 under, Patrick Reed at 15 under, Garcia, Willett, all that stuff. In the last few years, we've seen it hovering in that 10 to 11 under range-ish if you throw out the DJ spot. And here's some winning trends that I think are interesting. There's a lot more in the email. 18 of the last 21 winners were 27 or older. You got to have a little bit of experience. You talked about teasing another first timer here to possibly win. If I think I know who that is, he does not check that box. 25 of the last 26 winners made the cut in the prior Masters. 23 of the last 26 winners finished better than T38 in their prior Masters. 56 of the last 59 winners did not win the Masters the year before. So there goes Jon Rahm. 13 of the last 15 winners had at least 4 career wins, and 12 of the last 14 winners finished 35th or higher in their previous start before Augusta. So just a few trends, but there's a lot more in that email. You can check that out over, like I said, link in the description. But you got a couple trend busters potentially in, well, hopefully not in like Cantlay for me. But okay, let's talk about. Let's do this. I want to take a quick glance, Pat. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull up Bet the Number. One of my favorite things to do is go back and look at previous. I think this is the right page. Let's double check. Yes. I like going back and looking at the previous year's tournament or two and just kind of refreshing myself of the leaderboard, right? So let's just look at last year. This is the tournament page. If you go to the tournament page on Bet the Number, change the year to 2023 and click on the Masters, you can see last year's leaderboard as well as averages and all that stuff. So here's last year's leaderboard. Obviously, Jon Rahm, your winner. These stats are not how they performed that week, but their previous 24 rounds. So let's just take a look at the scores, where guys finished, just to refresh ourselves. We all remember the Jon Rahm Brooks Koepka battle. We remember Phil finishing runner-up in an amazing fashion, despite being in horrible form coming off a live. But I selected a few favorites here, and I don't think we need to talk about them all, but I'm just going to go to favorites only mode here. Also, I want to see their recent form and history as they were coming into last year's Masters. That's what this is. So their previous 5 events leading into last year's Masters and their previous 5 Masters finishes. So I've just got this list of favorites here, Pat. Can you see those folks?
I can. Yes.
Okay. And just thinking about some names that I find interesting here, So we talked about Rahm and Brooks. They're obviously playing Live Miami and Doral. I talked about in the course breakdown video why I think Doral is such a great spot for Live to be the week before Augusta. So Brooks is doing Doral right now. And then you get to Hovland, who I got to say was in consideration for a fade for me, for being the season-long fade. I'm sure he was for you, right?
He was in consideration. And if you look at this already, I'm noticing his form was much better leading into this Masters.
Much, much, much better form leading in. I mean, now Hovland is let's pull up old Victor here. Let's see. Hovland's last few events was a T62 at the Players, 36th at API, 19th at Genesis. He's not looked the same. He's not looked the same since he won $18 million in 10 days in the summer. The irons haven't been the same. The around the green play seems to have taken a step back after he had seemingly maybe crossed a little threshold of being at least average from around the green. That's concerning at Augusta to me.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Victor, and here's the thing, when you're struggling with your swing, which is what he's been doing, he's admitted that he's working on his swing right now, and he's struggling a little bit. It does concern me. Now, we have seen plenty of players. We always say there's certain courses like the US Open where it's very hard to find form. I do think at Augusta, there are players that can tend to kind of find form a little bit. Phil is a perfect example last year. And the reason is because actually Augusta kind of gives you, especially on the greens and approach shots, they give you some room for error actually to miss because of all the slopes and how it can kind of like you could miss a little bit on the green and it'll slope towards the hole or whatever. Now we do know with Augusta, you got to hit it in the right spots because of the undulations and all that kind of stuff. But I do think there are players that tend to find form. That said, for me, Victor, it would be very hard for me to want to bet Victor outright and bet that he's going to be finding form this week. Or the guy you're pulling up now, Colin Morikawa. But that said, if I was choosing between the two, it would probably be Morikawa.
That you would play?
That I would play.
Okay.
That I would bet.
So here on this screen, we're now that I've expanded the row here from Morikawa, the recent form here in this drop down is this year's last 5 events. And then you've got obviously his Masters finishes here. Last year, he was coming into it, coming off a 13th at the Players. This year, 45th. Showed a little something at Genesis and Pebble Beach, but even Morikawa's ball striking hasn't looked quite like Morikawa. T10 last year at Augusta National. What are your thoughts on Morikawa's outlook this week? Apparently, you like it a little better than Hovland.
I do like it a little better than Hovland. I just don't feel like Hovland has it. I think his confidence is low. Morikawa, to me, I still feel like has a decent amount of confidence. He just hasn't been playing well, and things haven't been working out all that great for him. But
do you like him to win though? Do you think he could win this year?
I don't. But I do think if you, I don't know. I mean, if you get him top 20 at a pretty decent number, I could probably look at that.
Okay. What's another name in this list that jumps out at you? Good or bad?
Well, there's a couple in here that actually jump out at me. One is Fitzpatrick. Okay, Fitzpatrick's up there. Now he finished T10. He was T14 the year before that. So this is T10 last year in 2023. Coming off of 2 missed cuts. Two missed cuts.
That's what kind of got my eye about Fitzpatrick when I was looking at this.
Yeah, and so I think that's interesting to me. And Fitzy is a guy that I do like this week.
I think Fitzy could be a sneaky play. I still don't think he's ready to win yet. The betting show here, we're talking outrights, we're talking top 20s. I don't know that I feel like Fitz is ready to close the door on a win at Augusta yet. But I mean, obviously he's talented enough. He won the US Open, so it's not that he doesn't have the talent. But I'm just saying, as it stands today with his current game as it is right now, and his experience at Augusta, I don't see it yet for an outright. But I could see a top 10. I could see a top 10 for Fitzy.
I agree. I think Fitzy, we'll get into the DFS show later, but I think he might be a little bit more of a DFS play. The other one up here that I think is a very interesting guy is Sung J M. Now, Sung J M last year was playing much better heading into the Masters than he is this year, and we've kind of said like maybe he's broken with the swing. You look at the results; those are this year's results that are coming up here. A couple of missed cuts in there, nothing really jumping out at you, but he does have a great record at Augusta. Now, one of those. His best record or his best tournament at Augusta was a fall Masters when he finished second to DJ. But he still had that top 10 in 2022. And then he had the top, T16 last year. Sung Jae is another one that I actually think he could find a little form in Augusta. And I think at 100 to 1, now I don't want to give all the bets away. That's interesting to me for Sung Jae.
I'm out on Sung Jae.
I mean, we weren't, and I didn't know we were going to get into some of these players yet, but I'm not out on Sung Jae. Actually.
Okay. So. I think we got to talk a little Rory McIlroy here, and we got to talk about him anyway. At the top. I mean, currently, Rory is 11 to 1. He is playing. He's playing the Valero, which I think was probably a good move. He's currently 4 under T10. He's probably going to birdie the par 5 to go to 5 under and be T7. I didn't expect Rory to come out and like win Valero this week, but it is good to see him at least doing something better than he has been, because it hasn't been amazing by Rory standards. He's not putting it all together. He's not putting all aspects of the game together. He's not putting 4 rounds together, as he typically really hasn't done much of anyway. But the form coming in, he'd come off the API runner-up, did do better at the Players this year. The Players previous year missed the cut. I was I was banging the drum loudly last year that Rory was a fade. I was not buying all the hype, his press conference hype. God, remember how everybody was just soaking in their drawers about Rory's press conference comments and how it was the best he'd ever felt coming into Augusta. And then what does he do? He misses the cut. And he misses the cut by like 2. I think the cut line was 3 over. He shoots 5 over, misses the cut. Despite gaining all those strokes off the tee, look at him. Gained almost 3.6 strokes off the tee in 2 rounds. I don't think Rory is ready to win Augusta, even still. And I like that he went and played Valero. I like that he's playing good. Maybe he puts up a great round on Sunday and he charges late and backdoors a T3 like Rory likes to do, and people get jazzed up about it. But I still don't think this is the mix that Rory's finally gonna need to have to get over the hump and win Augusta. So I am uninterested, even at 10 to 1, 11 to 1, 12 to 1 in Rory. I'm not in.
Of course you aren't. Of course you aren't. I mean, this is like, I mean, it's
But I'm trying to be objective. I really am. I swear.
So here's the problem I have is that I can't be objective, or I can't be perceived as being objective, because we all know that I'm kind of a Rory fan.
Kind of, yeah.
But I also am realistic a lot when it comes to who I want to play. And so the problem is I can't say what I'm about to say and then you not say, oh, well, you just like Rory's. It's like so you're gonna here's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I have a feeling he wins this year.
Of course.
I have the feeling. The feeling is in my plum.
This is our 9th year doing this show.
I don't know. Last year, if you remember,
how many years?
No. If you remember last year, you kind of like put me on the spot. You put me on the spot, and you wanted me to take Rory or Rahm, and I took Rahm. I did. If you remember that, we can check the tape. And I took Rahm. This year, I would take Rory. I think Rory can win this golf tournament. I like the number at 11 to 1. If you like to bet a favorite up there, I'm not going to bet Scotty at 4 to 1. I get it. Scotty probably he could win easily. Obviously, he's the best golfer on the planet right now by far. Tiger kind of run here. Should have really won 3 golf tournaments in a row, and this could be the 4th. But for me, if I'm getting Rory at 11 to 1 and I want to bet up here, then I'll take it. I'll take it. And I think he could play well this week. Things feel like they're lining up. He's playing this golf tournament. I like the fact that he's playing Valero.
I do too.
I think that he didn't. There's not this whole like last year, if you remember, like a month before the Masters, totally different conditions. He went out and shot like a 64 there. People were like talking about that on social media. He did go, I think, up to Augusta last week, but there were no reports of how he played, what his score looked like, all that kind of stuff. I just think that Rory this year feels like it could happen. And so I'm going to.
Did you hear the rumor that he's this was a rumor unverified, but I heard it yesterday, I think, that he's not coming to Augusta till Tuesday?
I did hear that too.
Which okay.
He's seen the golf course plenty of times. Why does he need to get there any earlier?
I actually agree. And I think if he does that, I also think that's probably a good move. I think if he went and played here last week, which we know he did, and he looked at everybody in that group and every caddy and said, let me tell you something. If you leak a word about what I shoot today, or, nobody says a word about what I shoot, or he doesn't keep score, or who knows, like maybe he like intentionally hit a couple crappy shots just to like throw anyone off of the rumor mill. It seems like he's affected by the kind of the public perception of how things are going to go for him at Augusta. He doesn't do well under that. So to come in as under the radar as possible for him, which is he's never going to come in under the radar given his current he's still really freaking good. But the most under the radar he can come in, the better. And so I think for now, he's got the right recipe in terms of the things that he's doing, except for how he's played golf this year, because he has not looked like Rory this year. He's not.
I mean, he did early in the year when he was. I mean, he won early.
He wanted to buy.
So I think you're right. I think that he wants to kind of come in as low key as a Rory can come in, which is still he just can't be low key because he's Rory McIlroy. But I think and of course he'll be in the press room and all that. But I don't really care. I don't care what his press conference looks. I mean, the key to Rory is what happens in the first 18. And whatever happens in that first 18, and all he needs to really do, his number in his head should not be, I need to shoot 68 the first day. He just needs to shoot like a 69 or a 70.
Yeah.
71 maybe. Like that's all. He needs to keep himself in it. And then and I think that if that happens, he'll be there.
Yeah. Well, it's a fun little exercise to go back and look at the previous year tournaments or look at the last couple if you want and do some of that. You can do that on Bet the Number. Our friends already told you about the contest to Bet the Number, but you can get yourself a subscription to Bet the Number. I highly recommend you do that for this week for Masters. All the Masters content is locked and loaded at Bet the Number. Course research, unique stats that the team at Bet the Number come up with. Code TJ gets you $5 off monthly or $50 off an annual subscription. If you are a paying member of the Discord, you know that you can DM myself or Pat, and we will give you a one-time unique code to give you the biggest discount available at Bet the Number. So link in the description of the video or the podcast. Go to betthenumbergolf.com. Check it out. Up-and-coming golf data site with owners behind the scenes that, only care about golf. So they're not building tools for any other sports or whatever. B, they're going to constantly be improving the site year round. They just launched January 1st and the site is already where it is. It's amazing. License data from the PGA Tour, license data coming from Live Golf here pretty soon. And then the biggest secret weapon that Bet the Number has is an owner and owners who have handicapped golf on the PGA Tour before or have worked professionally with about a dozen tour players every single year, walking every single golf course every week, understanding how to attack these golf courses, how to play them, how to understand data, how to determine whether a player can succeed here, what the recipe to success is at a golf course. That person and those folks behind the scenes at BTN are making decisions behind the scenes about the number to help golfers and bettors and handicappers better understand what they're doing. So check it out, Bet the Number. Golf.com, link in the description. Thanks to them for supporting the show. All right. I've given you a lot of players I don't like. I will say that. I'm going to give you a few that I do in this kind of favorites range. Listen, Scotty's probably going to win this thing. Like there's really no indication that he wouldn't. The putter would be the only thing, which is obvious to Scotty.
Yeah. But we don't want to end the show right now.
No, we don't.
Like I would like to talk about some other players.
Do we parlay him with like Iowa girls winning the Natty or something like Caitlin Clark and Scotty? Or I don't know what you do, but we juice Scotty and we bet him however we have to. We parlay the crap out of him and we juice him how we have to. Juice him with the Caitlin. If you're a Caitlin Clark Iowa fan, do that. If they lose, juice him with somebody else. I don't know, but that's the only way.
I think the Gamecocks are going to win. I would do it with the Gamecocks.
Gamecocks? I can't bet on the Gamecocks. I can't.
I can't either. But I'm just saying, if you want to parlay that, maybe you parlay it with, are there horse races yet? Can we do those yet?
About horse races?
I'm trying to juice it up as much as I can.
Our boy Vince Money Marge he'll write the article. He'll write the article on tourjunkies.com, juicing it up, and it'll probably have Scotty. I don't know. We'll see what happens. He might make a bold call for Masters, but if it's not Scotty, I think it's Brooks. To me, Brooks is the one to beat outside of Scotty, and I don't really care what his live form kind of looks like at this point. And it's not been bad. It's not been amazing. He's got a T5 in Mayakoba, two T12 in Vegas and T12 in Jeddah, T28 in Hong Kong. He's just kind of having an average tournament at Doral right now, but I don't think that matters. Like I said, I love that they're playing Doral the week before Augusta. I think it's a great test. Lots of drivers, lots of difficult shots, lots of mid and long irons, similar to Augusta. Different agronomy, obviously, but to me, this is the one Brooks wants, man. And what Brooks wants, Brooks gets. And I think he's ready to snuff out the poor Sunday that he had last year. And he's ready to get the one that he's been missing, and that's Augusta. That's the Masters. So 18-1, 16-1 for Brooks. I think that's the play. I think that's the one. So I think right now you can get him at 18 on DraftKings. I would bet him. I would bet him at 15-1 or shorter. So at 18, I like it. And I think maybe his performance at Doral throws the number a little bit depending on what he does. Like right now, let me look at it right now. Right now, he is currently T35. He did not have a good round 2. He shot 5 over in round 2, shot 3 under round 1. So he's +2 total, and Sergio is leading at 9 under. So he's 11 shots back of Sergio right now through 2 rounds at Doral. So, but I still don't know that number really changes all that much. Brooks is a major killer. That's what he's coming here to do. So Brooks is that's my favorite bet up top for sure.
Well, I'm with you. I think one of my favorites besides Rory is Brooks, and I've already bet him. I got him at 20-1 actually, but I do think 18-1 is fine. 16-1 is fine. Brooks, we know, comes into majors and he's just looking to freaking win and blow out the field. And he always seems like regardless of what the form is, he always seems like he's just ready. And so for me, like, I agree. Like, I don't even know. I can't remember what the form was like last year when he came in. But if we recall, like, it looked like this was Brooks's tournament to win last year. And then it just kind of Sunday didn't go well for him and Rahm won. But Brooks to me, it's just he just goes. He's just a big game hunter. He goes after majors, and so I do like Brooks. So I'm with you there, and I've already bet him.
Can I tell you I have one more bet in this short range, and this is gonna surprise some people. I think for maybe the first time. I mean, for sure, the first time in the last like 12 months. Maybe the first time ever. I actually am interested at 18-1 in Xander Schauffele.
Jeez.
Let me take a sip, just because that just kind of felt weird.
Come on, man. Listen, I think you can
Let me wash that out.
I think you need to. You know what? When you were a kid and you got in trouble sometimes for saying something you shouldn't have said. You made a cuss word. You got. What did your mom say to you?
I'm gonna wash your mouth out with soap.
Yes.
Southern thing, or did everybody do that?
I don't know. Is that a Southern thing?
I don't know.
I think you need to wash your mouth out with soap right now. I mean, I would not. I just don't think Xander. Now, I do like Xander in DFS. I think Xander in DFS makes a little bit of sense. What is that in your mouth right now? That's a pen?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna add that we have to wash our mouth out with soap. Whoever that's an option on the betting wheel that we're gonna spin. On the show.
Well, I don't know if this would cause a bet, but I'll tell you this. I would much rather bet outright, and I've already bet them outright. I've been doing it now. So this is the thing with the Masters, because we tell people to do this throughout the year. We tell them all the time, like, go ahead and, I mean, we may talk about it in October of last year or at the beginning of this year. Like, look at the odds. Try to see where you see some value when it comes to the majors. This is one where I started seeing some value. Jordan Spieth is at 20. I got him at 25-1. Now he's a little bit shorter now. I think on DK he's like 22-1. But I've been betting up Jordan. I would take Jordan over Xander for sure to win this year. Now you may not be willing to bet on that. I'm just telling you, I'll see your Xander and I'll raise it with a Jordan this week, because he's the other name up here outside of Rory, outside of Brooks Koepka. Jordan Spieth, despite the form, he is playing well this week at Valera. I think he's in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how he always just shows up at Augusta. I'm playing him, and I think if you get him around that 22-1 number, if you get him at 25-1, which I got him at, I think you definitely bet that.
That's enticing, and we may come back to it on the wheel bet. I do like Jordan to an extent. I like Jordan more in DFS. I like him more as a top 5, even top 10. I have a hard time seeing Jordan win. Like I know, even though he's played well through 3 rounds at Valero, it doesn't feel like we're getting the same consistency. We're not.
No.
It just doesn't seem like we're getting the same level of Jordan Spieth that we need to get to see him win the Masters again. And I mean, obviously the guy can win the Masters. Like he's won it what, twice or once?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously
No, he's
like,
only won it once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I get that. I think I still like Xander better. I don't know that I want to do a wheel bet on that because I do like Jordan. But
Yeah.
Xander, I've made a lot of fun of Xander and a lot of fun of people betting Xander. But most of that has been in, I think like less than like 15 to 1, shorter than 15 to 1, 12 to 1, that kind of number. I just don't get it. But he's had a tremendous record at Augusta. You can't deny how well he's played this year. He's got no holes in the boat. He checks every possible box, and as he normally does, but now I'm getting him at close to 20 to 1, and that feels a little better. I don't have to, and I'm not pot committed to Xander. I've literally I don't know that I've ever spent a unit on Xander in my life of betting on golf. 9 years. But I'm sitting there looking at all the other guys in this range, and I'm like, it's Brooks and Xander, and that's kind of it. Like now Neiman, I do think I need to say this. I have hit Neiman in both of his outright wins at Live this year. Huge fan of Joaquin Neiman. Before Neiman won his second Live event, like the day before, I put out a tweet and I said, I'm taking Neiman at, I think it was like 50 or 60 to 1 at Augusta. So I'm holding a Neiman ticket. At 25 to 1, I don't like it. Probably because I have him at 50 to 60. I
don't like it at all. I think it's been bet. It's way too much steam. Now you missed the boat on Neiman.
Yeah, he's been curb stomped into a 25 to 1 oblivion. But one of the things that I love that Bet the Number does is every single week their folks put together kind of a basic model for people that don't want to do their own model and don't want to get wrapped up in all that, but they just want you to kind of say, like, tell me who you think is good, and I'll make my decisions from there. And there's always a stat or two that they include in the model that you kind of go, huh, interesting. And for Augusta, they include apex height in their BTN model, which is interesting, and it's primarily for the purpose of, can this guy hit it high and land it soft into these firm, fast, highly undulating greens with a mid iron or long iron? That's the one thing Neiman's never really done great. I mean, I bet him all the time on the PGA Tour. When we watched him all the time on TV, he was never a high ball hitter. I mean, he's a low absolute seed hitter. So, I mean, that's going to hold him back a little bit. I'm not saying that means he can't win. I mean, obviously I bet him knowing that. But it is a knock against him. But he's played Augusta 3 times. Every time he's improved. T40, T35, T16 last year in 2023. And he's playing some of the best golf of his career right now. So I do think Neiman's going to be a force. But at 25 to 1, I think he's a pass for me too.
Can I tell you something, DB? I texted, I didn't get any response from you.
Oh, yeah?
Nothing.
Let me see what he's doing right now. Actually, had a good day today. He's T7 right now. He's 5 shots off the lead from Sergio. Anyway.
He's been playing well. All right. So, apex height.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting into the weeds of Bet the Number, and I'm trying to create my own model.
Okay.
And
if Pat can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And BTN has a great model. I tend to use it most weeks, but I wanted to create my model this week. I'm calling it Master P 2024.
Okay.
So, and now I do think you try to keep things simple this week when it comes to your stats, off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, throw some bend in there. Par 5 scoring, I think, is a big one for sure. You can look at some approach numbers from various yardages, I think. Apex height was one of them that I thought about, which is in the BTN model. But here's the other one, DB. Did you know that there was a stat called hang time?
Hang time?
Hang time, like a
Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
like hanging with Mr. Cooper. It's hanging out like a punt, like a punter. They talk
Yeah.
about hang time for a punter.
Yeah.
Well, in my mind, hang time actually makes sense because it is actually how long the ball is in the air from when it is struck to when it lands, which is very similar in a way to apex height, I think, in my mind. So I actually used a little hang time.
Stop.
I did in my model.
Bruh, if we could rewind until 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, Pat Perry
Yeah.
doing the Tour Junkie show, that he would one day have a model with hang time in it for the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
He would throw his headset off, walk off the podcast and yell and
Like
cuss.
old Pat would be cussing like
Yeah.
hell at me today, Pat.
Yes, at today, Pat.
So hang time is in the model, DB. Now it does tend to coincide a little bit with apex height, not all the way. So
Look at you, bud. I'm so proud of you. God. All right. There's other names in here. I don't want to talk about everybody, but I do think it's worth noting Hideki's making a charge right now at Valero. He's probably not going to win. I don't think he's going to. As it stands right now, it's going to be tough to run down Akshay. Akshay's looking very much in control right now. But as it stands today, Hideki's in third at 7 under, shot 666 today. He was already getting some chatter, I think, on Twitter and such. He's 25-1. That number probably gets shorter, I bet, now that he's having the week he's having, if any. It's one that I doubt gets longer. What do you think about Hideki?
Oh, I love Hideki. I think when you're looking up here, the 25-1 number is a good number. I hit Hideki when he won. I think it was 40-1. He's just been playing, extremely well. So there's so many up here that we could talk about and bet. Hideki is a guy that,
based on the trends and the way the Masters goes, like this is where the winner's coming. That's why we spent so much time up here.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is up there. There's a few others as we get into the mid range, but then it's also a shorter field, so we're not really going to have a ton of, there's not a huge range, once you get past the 75-1. So Hideki for me is certainly in play. I think Hideki, if you're like doing a pool, like here's the thing this week too, you have a lot of guys that are doing, or girls, not just guys, that are doing golf pools. They're doing other ways to bet, quote unquote, other than just DFS and betting. I think Hideki is a play when it comes to your pool. I think now I do think he's going to be kind of like a higher owned type guy, but I do think Hideki is certainly in play to win, and this is a great course fit for him.
So before we get out of this range, I got to ask you about Ludwig, 28-1.
Well, for me, I actually thought Ludwig would be a little bit higher. I think you can still get him at 35-1 on some sites. But he's the one that I wanted to talk about the most that was up here in the shorter range. And I think Ludwig could easily be one of the first winners that we've seen that, first timer since Fuzzy Zeller. And that's been a long time.
1979, I believe.
Yes. 79? Was it 79?
I think it was 79.
Either way, it's been freaking forever. But Ludwig is a guy that checks a ton of boxes, that is kind of sort of wise beyond his years when it comes to any golf course that he gets to and plays. We've seen guys like Willie Z, we talked about it earlier, finish second his first time. Ludwig has all the things that you want out of a guy to win this week. As a matter of fact, in my model that I created, that includes hang time, DB, Lud is number 2. He's number 2 in the model. If you want all the stats, if you want stats and everything else, and you want the guy that fits, Lud is one of the guys that fits. He's up there in every single category, almost every single one. As a matter of fact, the worst category in the model I have is approach, which he's actually been pretty good with if you just take out the API, which kind of screwed up the stats if you're looking at the most recent tournaments. But he had he's T5 right now in Texas. He's top 10 at the Players. I think Ludd could definitely be one of the first guys to win the Masters on their first chance ever since Fuzzy Zeller.
I want to share my screen and show you one of my favorite things to do on Bet the Number. If you go to the tournament page after the ball's in the air on Thursday, the tournament page turns into your live tournament stats. We're at the Valero right now. Like I said, they're almost done with round 3. As we scroll down, we get live data. And here's Ludwig sitting in 6th place, 6 under, shot a 67 today. You can sort this by round, all 1, 2, 3, 4, raw values or rankings. If we just look through the first 3 rounds, Ludwig is first off the tee and 5th in approach, 4th in tee to green so far through 3 rounds. He's gained over 3 strokes off the tee, over 4 strokes on approach. Absolutely flushing it at the moment. Around the green play is not tremendous, but he probably hasn't had a lot of opportunities. I bet he's been hitting a lot of greens in reg. Yeah, he's hit 72% of his greens in regulation. Ball speed, we know is there for Ludd, 180 miles an hour ball speed, which you need at Augusta. You also, I think you need some distance at Augusta for sure. We know that. He's not making big numbers. Bogeys are worse. He's 6th in the field. He's only made 6 bogeys in the field. So he's doing really well at the moment. However, I think that the debutante thing, not just at Augusta, but being his first major, is a big deal. I think that's a thing. If, we talked about Wyndham Clark, and obviously Wyndham Clark's a shorter number. I see Wyndham Clark winning this thing before I see Ludwig winning it, because obviously both haven't played Augusta, but Wyndham being having not just experience in a major, but experience winning a major, which is a new experience. Like, it's not Ludwig's experience winning the RSM on Sunday. It would be Ludwig's experience winning the Masters on Sunday, and probably having to take down the likes of Koepka and Rahm and Scheffler and, Xander, of course. So like, that's my hang up. Is Ludwig talented enough to do that? 100%. He's one of the most talented, seemingly one of the most talented young prospects we've seen come out. But I don't see him winning it. I don't think he's a bet to win.
The biggest thing that I saw that you just showed on your screenshot was his scrambling. You kind of glossed over it a little bit, but actually, I feel like Ludd, the problem with him, which he actually does show up pretty well with his scrambling, but the problem with him to me is, like, I don't know if he has the exact, like, I think you got to be so creative around Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have guys that are so? Do you remember Rocky 5? Okay, so Rocky 5, he was, so you got to be like a Rocky. Okay, you gotta be able to be creative, stick and move. All right, you can't you can't be Ivan Drago, which is basically what Ludwig is to me. Ludwig is Ivan Drago. All right,
kind of just the robot, the machine.
He's just kind of the robot, the machine, and I think that could hurt him in the end. Like he's going to be right there. He's going to be right there.
That makes sense.
But then, like, Rocky's going to come in with a hook from the left side that he never even thought was ever going to happen, and boom, he gets knocked out.
Makes sense. So. All right, that's the top of the board. Let's move on to kind of this mid-range. I've got some guys to talk through here in the mid-range for sure. I've got some interesting dudes in here that I think I'm ready to fire on now that I think they're going to get shorter. Before we do, I talked about these guys in the giveaway, but our friends at SoBet continue to crush it. And listen, this is what happened yesterday on SoBet. And this is just from limited research. I don't even know. I looked at literally the feed for like the first 10 posts. And Pat, yesterday, Parlay Camu, Pick'em Petey, Lloyd Locks, and Gutsy, 4 of the over 50 pros that handicap every single bet you can think of. 4 of them went undefeated, clean sweep in their bets yesterday. Everything from baseball to basketball to I think there was a tennis thing in there. There was some combat sport in there. All of them went clean sweep. And then our boy Dusty Picks went 9-2 for a 9-unit day. What I'm telling you is, if you're betting on sports in any capacity and any sport imaginable, it's all covered on SoBet. It is a social platform for handicappers, and only the handicappers are posting. So your feed is clean, baby. If you just want the sports betting data, you got it. SoBet has it. And they require their handicappers to give you the plays, give you how many units they want on each play, and reasons why, not just bets thrown out into the ether. And then they require transparency, whether the bet wins or loses. You can see it all right there on SoBet. So it's transparency. It's a great community. Like I said, over 50 handicappers. We've been doing it over a year. We put some exclusive placement bets up there on SoBet every single week for golf. A lot of my exclusive live bets go up on SoBet. You got to get involved. If you click the link in the description, you use code TJ, you get the first month for $1. The code TJ, first month for $1. It's only $9.95 a month from there, and you can cancel at any time. We appreciate our friends at SoBet. If you like the Tour Junkies and you like the Tour Junkies podcast and all we do, support us by checking out our friends at SoBet, Bet the Number, other sponsors. They're great folks over there, and we appreciate them helping us keep the lights on. All right, Pat. Next kind of range, up to that 75-1 range. And there's already been some movement here, I've noticed. I got a handful of names here, and I'm going to actually we're going to do it differently here. I'm going to shotgun this, and then I want you to laser focus on any of them that I may give you that you also like, and maybe we can talk about it.
Okay.
Because I haven't really decided on these guys, but these are the ones I like. I like DJ, 35-1. I like Tony Finau at 40-1. And you know what? Like 4 weeks ago, I told myself, I don't think I'm going to be there on Finau for this year in the Masters for the first time in like 6 years. And you know what? I'm freaking there. I think I like Sahith at 45. I like Lowry at 50. I like Cam Young at 55, which is crazy for me to say. Crazy. I kind of like Patrick Reed at 60, but I don't think I'm going to get there.
No.
Those are the names.
Well, you had me at DJ. I'm with you on DJ.
Okay.
I like him a lot.
Let's take a peek in on DJ too, what he's doing right now. Through 2 rounds at Live Miami, he is 3 under. Currently, he is tied. Well, he's 3 under total. Where's his? Dadgummit. Damn it, Bobby. I don't know. He's up there though. He's doing okay. He's doing pretty good.
I think if DJ played more, like if he was a PGA Tour player, his number would not be 35 at all this week. I just don't. I think there is value there. So I'm with you on DJ. Obviously, I'm with you on Cam Young. I've already bet Cam Young at 55-1. I bet him.
Are you surprised I'm there on Cam Young?
I am surprised you're there on Cam Young. But listen, the guy, look.
Now it's just like Xander. Now I get him at a decent number, and I know it's a major. I know it's a big field.
Yeah, it's a good number.
That's where he showed up. He's got a bunch of top 5s and runner-ups and majors. But I've never understood the guys betting Cam Young at 20-1 or 22-1 or 25-1 at some tournament. But 55 here at a course that is perfect for him.
Yes,
this Augusta National is perfect for him. If he can keep his cool, because he does seem like a little bit of he seems like he really runs hot, but it's like under the surface hot.
Yeah.
55, I'm as good as he's hitting it, and as what he's done in majors, 55, that feels like about as strong a value as you're going to get at the Masters.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Cam Young is a great play. So I'm with you there. Sahith, I'm also with you. I think now I've seen him as long as 55-1. He's another guy that, the off the tee play is always kind of a concern because he does tend to spray it a little bit. But here's the thing. We know this about Augusta. You can spray it a little bit if you hit it if you miss in the right spots. You can't really have a left miss, but if you miss in the right spots, I do think that, that Sahith can do well here, and obviously he did well the last year that he played. So I'm with you on that one. I do have a few others here in this range.
Okay.
Now I do think the number is bad now, but I have a bet on Willie Z at 50-1, but he's at 35-1 now. I think Willie Z is a very interesting conversation for this week. I don't think the 35-1 number is as good as you kind of missed the boat a little bit. Like if you could have gotten
that one could get longer.
It could get a little. Yeah, you're right. That one could move to like 40 to 45. I think
he hasn't played in the last. He hasn't played well in the last couple of weeks. He's not playing this week. Once everything kind of reshuffles and the books kind of reanalyze everything, I could see him getting back to 50 because I don't think anybody's touching him at 35 right now.
No, they're not.
They've already hit him at 50. They're not going to touch him at 35. But I don't know that I want it, even at 50.
I like it. I just think he's
gained 10 strokes putting at Augusta. 10. That's absurd for Willie Z.
That is actually pretty absurd.
And I understand that, like, okay, maybe that means he just has Augusta figured out, but that's hard to do your first 2 times around Augusta. Like, I wonder if that's like more just coincidence or
it's not just the putting. Everything has been good at Augusta.
Well, you would expect everything else to be good at Augusta for sure. I mean, his ball striking, it's a great place for him from a ball striking standpoint. You can't argue that, but he's a horrible putter. Horrible. And he looked horrible at Houston last week. He lost 7 strokes putting in Memorial.
Yeah.
And it looked bad again. It's just so up and down. So to me, I wonder if because I think it's a mistake to think that, oh, well, Willie just has figured out Augusta, or he can, there's something about Augusta greens that he's better on. I think even though I understand it's 8 rounds, but I still think that's a really small sample size when it's his first 8 rounds around Augusta. And I think it could still be just like that, not actually be reality for Willie C. And
yeah, well, I mean, I agree. I mean, his putting is one of the things that we talk about a lot. Now, I do think just because of the way it looks doesn't necessarily mean that he's a terrible putter. We've seen him putt well in events before.
It looks like Riggs Barstool.
It does. It doesn't look great. I'll add in another name though that I think that people will overlook.
Okay,
and that's Corey Connors. You're getting Corey
Connors. You
Connors.
think people are going to overlook Corey Connors?
I think they are at 60-1. Yeah.
I think he's a course horse. I don't think he's going to be overlooked. But I mean, 60-1 is still interesting. I mean, I gave it a look.
65 now is what I'm seeing on DK. I mean, look, I'm all in on that, man. This is a ball striker's course. We've talked about this for years. It's a Sergio Garcia ball striker's course. Not all, like, if you just have a good putting week, it can happen for you. Corey Connors can win this golf tournament.
I think he can too. He burned the living hell out of me last year. I had so much Corey Connors. He shot 8 over, missed it by 5. I could get there, but I'm not there. And now that I'm talking through it with you, I think I've narrowed it down. I think for me, I think I'm going to bounce on Finau. I'm just going to stick to my guns. I said that I wasn't going to do it this year with Finau, and I'm not going to do it. And maybe it's a little bit of the putting thing with Willie Z too. Like, Finau and Willie Z sound similar. So I think I'm going to bounce on Finau. I'm going to do DJ. I'm doing Cam Young. I think I'm doing Shane Lowry at 50-1. And I think I'm going to do Sahith. Sahith just
feels right. It feels good.
But it also feels a little wrong.
No, it feels right. It feels very right to me.
It just feels like, oh, he's just too inexperienced still. Like I know he played well last year, first year. He's playing well right now. It just feels a little premature. It feels like premature sahithulation. Premature sahiculation.
No, maybe last year was premature sahithulation, but this year it's right on time. It's right on time. There's an orgasmic there's an orgasmic thing that's going to happen on Sunday at Augusta National, and it's Sith winning the Masters. I don't know. I am all in on Sith. I love it. I love him in DFS. I love him betting. If you're doing a pool, all of it.
I like him. I do like him everywhere else, and I think a top 5 is there.
Yeah,
a top 10 is there. I might just wait on pulling the trigger on Sahith for an outright, but I could see myself getting there. As we move on to the next range, I actually have nobody, because like our next range we kind of include is the up to like 125 to 1, in between 75 and 125 to 1.
yeah.
I have literally no one. Everyone else I have is bombs beyond that.
You know, I've got 2 names in here that I do think are interesting to me. I mentioned one of them earlier, and that was Sung Jae. He's at 100 to 1. Now I think he's 80 to 1 on DraftKings, but I think he's 100 to 1 on FanDuel. I do think Sung Jae is interesting to me, and then I think Adam Scott, who's also at right around 100 to 1, is another one. We've obviously seen him win this golf tournament before.
Yeah, 11 years ago. I mean, I think Adam Scott's an interesting. We can talk about him on other shows.
You don't want to talk. Yeah, we can talk about him on other shows.
Okay. Let's talk about the bombs though, because I do have a few bombs here that I think are worth
I have 2 that I absolutely love.
Okay. Before we do, also absolutely love our Swannies, our friends at Swannies. Shout out to our friends at Swannies. TJ25 gets you 25% off the entire store, people. The entire store. Anything you order, anything on swannies.co. There's a link in the description. You can check that out. They are the apparel sponsor of the Tour Junkies. In fact, look at this. I'm just going to show the people. They got the North Loop connection that just dropped. It's tremendous. Boom Island dropped a couple weeks ago. That's good too. Golden Lake is out. They've even got stuff for the ladies.
Look at those ladies.
Look at those. If your wife or significant other plays some golf or just likes golf apparel, Swannies has you covered. They've got stuff for juniors as well. So check it out, swannies.co. The code is TJ25, and you get 25% off your entire order. And these people are based in the U.S. They ship anywhere to U.S. and Canada. They're good people. So check out swannies.co. Link in the description. Support Swannies if you support Tour Junkies. All right, let's talk about the bombs. Who are your 2 bombs that you absolutely love? And then we're going to wrap up with our top 20s and get out of here.
2 guys I love here. One is a winner on tour recently this year. Actually, both of these guys have won on tour this year. Nick Taylor at 200 to 1.
Whew.
And then also Mathieu Pavon.
No, man.
What? How could the guy's played good everywhere he plays? Everywhere he plays.
Not everywhere. No, he's not played good everywhere.
Well, whatever. Stop ruining what I'm talking about here with Mathieu, okay?
I think he missed his last cut.
I don't care. Mathieu Pavon.
Yeah, he missed the players. Then he finished 52nd at API. Like, what are you talking about? Get the facts. What is it? What does he check the box in hang time? Does he have good hang time?
Do you realize he's 4th in this field in hang time?
Is he really? Or are you making that up?
No, I'm not making it up at all. Do you realize he's 4th in this field in hang time? He is 3rd. He is 3rd in putting.
What did you say he was?
200 to 1.
Okay, I have 2 names at 200 to 1 or longer that I will easily put up against Mathieu Pavon.
What about Nick Taylor?
I don't mind Nick Taylor. We at least have seen, at least in the last year since winning the RBC and now the Waste Management, when Nick is on, he can close the door. He's not afraid to win it. But I don't think he has the tools to win Augusta.
Okay, but I might cheat. Whatever you're about to go, like we can spin the wheel, but I want a choice between either Nick Taylor or
I will give you that choice.
I'll take Nick Taylor.
Okay. Then I will happily take at 200 to 1 a guy who played his first Masters last year, finished T39. Not anything
weird. You know what's weird about that?
What?
Nick Taylor played his first Masters, I believe, in 2020, and he finished T29.
Okay. Well, that was in 2020. That was the November one. Doesn't count. Anyway, Taylor Moore, the Arkansas tiny boy. Taylor Moore is dialed right now.
I like Taylor Moore.
Dialed right now. Wish he could have won me the dang Houston Open, but he didn't. T12 at the Valspar, 31st at the Players, 31st at Genesis, playing well, playing solid. I just think the floor for Taylor Moore is pretty good, but I actually think, I mean, Taylor Moore, like, I think he could be a low-key, goofy killer, if that makes sense. Like, he strikes me as just he's a tiny boy. He's a wee boy from Arkansas. He's got a little bit of a troubled past. But I think he's just kind of an interesting cat, and I could see him getting it done. He's 200 to 1.
I'll take Nick Taylor over him. We can spin the wheel on that.
So the bet is whoever finishes better, best finish on the leaderboard, tiebreakers, DraftKings points scored, right?
Yes, that's typically what we do, even though this is a betting show.
Then let's do it. Oh, by the way, I've got some new things on here, and on 2 of the things, it's a listener's choice. So we'll work.
Did you put the wash your mouth out with soap on there? Okay.
Yes. So we'll work that out if it gets there. Ready? Here we go. Oh, snap!
Wash your mouth. That's awesome. All right, so you just added it.
So one of us will wash our mouth out with soap on next week's show. Live. Can I say this, Pat? I've never done that. Have you ever had that done to you?
I think I have, TV. I think it's happened to me before.
Okay.
I think it was threatened so much that finally my mom decided that she was just going to go ahead and do it, and she did it. I don't know what I said.
Miss Marie, I'm going to see if I can get that story. See if I can get that story for Miss Marie.
By the way, speaking of Miss Marie and Big P, Big P may join us on the chat on Wednesday night in the Nut Hut. I don't know if he'll jump up on stage, but we might be able to get Big P in there on stage. Like, I mean, that's up to us. We can bring him in or not. But I have a feeling he might. Which my dad jumping in the chat could be epic.
I also hear rumors that there could be other chats that occur throughout the week next week, live chats that so stay tuned. Be on the lookout in the Discord. I have other names in here though, Pat, that I like. First of all, like I don't want to do it, but what if Sergio wins Doral? Did you know that he switched his putter? He got his 1999 Scotty Cameron touched up and redone. And if he just kind of does his thing putting at Doral with the ball striking, I mean, he's 180 to 1. So, and that's with a 2-shot lead at the moment. Sergio could be interesting. 180. I don't think he's going to win. I don't know that I want it, but 180 is big. This one boggles my mind. Do you know who I think fits Augusta National so dang well? In fact, I would love to see where he fits in your hang time statistic because he is 3rd in apex height. He has good ball speed. He gains strokes off the tee. He has great mid and long irons. He's actually not terrible around the greens. But he's never really played here well at all. Nothing to write home about. I think his best finish was actually last year, a T23. But he's a major winner. He's a multiple winner on tour, elevated event winner. Keegan Bradley at 150 to 1. It perplexes me that he has not played Augusta National better.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. Now I'm trying to find him. What is he at?
I believe he was at 150 when he's 150 to 1 on DK. Could be better.
He is 6th in hang time.
There we go.
6th in hang time, but you're right. Yeah, he has been playing great lately, but I don't mind Keegan actually. I'm with you there at 150 to 1. I think actually he's a little bit longer on FanDuel, but I don't know what that number is. But anyway, I do like I'm good with that on Keegan. I am surprised he hasn't played better here.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing well, like you said. Like his numbers aren't great, but they're also like very average. So it's not like other than putting, which is, I mean, listen, we know Keegan sucks at putting. So forget putting. Tee to green, his numbers are just very pedestrian. So it's not he doesn't look like broken. He doesn't look like, he can't find it like Cantlay has at times, right? He just looks like he's kind of close, or he's just kind of on, he's just kind of humming along, but at any moment he could spike and have a big week. And I just think 150, like Keegan's a killer, man. He is a killer. He's a major winner. I just don't understand why he hasn't done better here. So 150 to 1 Keegan will suck me right in, I'm sure. All right. Anybody else for you in this range? Are we done? Moving to top 20s?
Yeah, I'm ready for some top 20s, DB.
Before we get to the top 20s, don't forget all the giveaways. Go check the giveaways. We're doing the beer sleeve, red TJ hat, azalea polo, and putter cover. All you got to do there is get in the Discord, even the free version. We're giving you the free year subscription to Bet the Number. All you got to do there is follow us on SoBet, link in the description. And then we're giving a $100 Swannies gift card to somebody who leaves us a 5-star rate and review on Apple or Spotify. Helps promote the show. We appreciate that. Listen, anything you guys can do to help promote Tour Junkies helps, share things on Twitter, on Instagram, tell your friends, whatever. There's a ton of people that get into Masters Week that aren't normally stopping by on a regular PGA Tour week. And we get it. But if you expose them to us and you share the TJ gospel, maybe they like the show, maybe they don't, but maybe they do, and they come back, and that helps us. So thank you. Top 20s, locks and bombs. We give you 2 locks a piece, 1 bomb a piece. We're going to go 3 to 1 or longer on the bombs. So let's start here, Pat. I'm going to start. Oh, this is the announcement I was going to tell people about DraftKings. DraftKings has up right now, Pat, top finishes, including ties for placements this week. Now, I don't know if that's going to stay for the rest of the PGA Tour season. That would be awesome. But normally, I like to bet top 20s and top 40s or any placements exclusively on MGM because they do pay out full in ties. And even though the number is usually a little shorter, I think it's worth it because I can't tell you how many times you hit that dang thing and you're splitting it and your dead heat rules kick in, and that's no fun. So I'm going to look exclusively, since they're the only ones up right now. MGM doesn't have any numbers up, but DraftKings does have top finish, including ties. I'm looking exclusively there. And I am going to start with my first lock as Shane Lowry. We didn't talk about him a lot, but I really, really, really like Shane Lowry. He feels like he's in the right form. He plays Augusta well. He's that right age, like he's at kind of how Augusta will produce like a guy with maybe a little bit of balding or grayness, or might have had a blue chew or something before because he needed it in a big moment. He feels like he's just right in that perfect age spot, right? He's plus 130, playing well, top 20. That's with ties for Shane Lowry. So I like that. And I'm also going to go with my boy. Now, I already have an outright ticket on him because I made it at the DK Sportsbook at Scottsdale because out of respect. Although I don't really know that I see him really winning the Masters, but a top 20, I could totally see it. I opened with an homage to his motherland, and he's on the shirt. Siwoo plays Augusta quite well, man. Like, he plays Augusta well, and he's playing really well right now. And Siwoo, I think, is a lock top 20 to keep it rolling. Plus 160. 2 big locks from me.
Okay. Well, I like the Siwoo play. And actually, I went with a top 20 on a guy that I bet when we were out there at the WM Phoenix Open. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I'm remembering who that was, and I'm okay. I'm interested to hear that.
So I'm actually going to start with a minus number, DB. I know you don't like those, but I'm going to start with Jordan at minus 115. Jordan Spieth, top 20 lock, minus 115. I just like, you look at how he plays here. It's just always so well. I think Jordan up there in the top 20 at minus 115 is a great number. I had Shane Lowry actually written down. Now, I saw him on FanDuel, I believe, around plus 150. But so since you took Lowry, I will give a bonus play of a guy that you talked about a little bit earlier. You striked him off your list as an outright. But Tony Finau, plus 140.
Don't mind that at all for a top 20.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense. That would be the way I would get some phenom exposure for sure.
Yeah.
All right, give me your bomb. 3-1 or longer top 20 bomb. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Chris Kirk at plus 350.
Really?
Going with Chris Kirk. Look, Chris Kirk actually has played a little better here than you may think. I mean, like he doesn't have
solid here.
Like he was T23 last year. You know, you look at his last few tournaments, nothing's really standing out great, but he is, you know, he's making cuts. He's right up there in the top 30 a few times over his last few tournaments. I just think Chris Kirk could come in here and play well this week. So I'm gonna go with him as my bomb at plus 350. And I do have an outright on him, but only because I can't remember how we ended up with that at the WM, but I do have a ticket. It's literally right beside me here. A ticket for him to win outright.
I mean, I'm tempted to go Taylor Moore, but you know, in this range, I'm kind of thinking like Taylor Moore feels very boom or bust to me. Like he feels like he's going to give it a run, top 10, or he's going to trunk slam. In this range, I want to give somebody that's got a little better floor at 3-1 on the dot, including ties on DraftKings. And he hasn't really done much here at Augusta, but I think it's improving. Was really hot last year at a certain point and the beginning of the year this year. But I'm going to go JT Poston at 3-1. I'm going to go Postman.
Okay. I like it.
You know, not super flashy, but we know the short game is fantastic. The iron play is usually pretty solid. Made his first cut at Augusta last year, finished T34. So I'm going to, you know, he was making some noise at points this year. T10 at the Genesis, 20th at Pebble Beach. Had a great start to the year at the Century Sony Amex. And just kind of faded a little bit, but, you know, haven't seen him since the Players. T45 there. I think JT Poston could make a little bit of noise and do a top 20 run for us. I think that's it, Pat. I think we nailed it. I think that's the betting show. Listen, we're doing this early. There's going to be a lot of content that comes out. We're going to see the press meeting, the press interviews, whatever. God, I couldn't think of the word. Press interviews from Augusta. We're going to get all the intel. I will be on the ground on Tuesday, walking practice rounds on Tuesday with Pat's brother, DirecTV Perry, Mr. Perry. It's going to be a good time there. If you see us, holler. We'll meeting up with a couple of you out there on Tuesday. That should be fun. And obviously, we'll be in the Discord heavily between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially, and then every day after every round, doing some showdown discussion, doing some props discussion, live betting options, all that stuff will be in the Discord. There's going to be a lot of value to being in the Discord this week, given how things will change quickly and we're putting out this content early. This is just kind of to whet the appetite, get you started, get you going. So check out the DFS show if you have not already. The Augusta National course preview show that's dropped as well. Let's have a tremendous week and bend over, you bookie. See ya.